Ish. I think we're live.
Yeah, we are live.
Yeah. Harmonizing Journey to Realignment Foundation Series, Mastery of Keylonta, Postures of Love and Steps Towards Joy, Episode 3, on Keylonta. Oh, there we go. That's not what I wanted to click on. That's all I'm going to get, though. I was wanting to see it on my phone. I'm not seeing it on my phone. Okay. Anyway, welcome everybody. And is it on your phone, Lewis? Do you have it up? Are you the one person showing up? Are you that? Or do we actually have somebody showing up? Whoever it is, awesome. Please introduce yourself.
I think you have a couple of people because you have 3 likes with 1 viewer, so
3 likes.
Yeah, 3 likes with 1 viewer.
Okay.
With 1 person watching, so cool. I don't know.
Thank you. But yes, again, okay. Private chat.
Okay, so you got me and one other person, unless you're also watching it.
That's not what I wanted to do. Why am I not getting? They just went, StreamYard just went through being absorbed into another company. Why am I getting a teleprompter? I just want to see the mess. Oh, comments. Okay, here we go. Okay. That's got to be Christopher V. Comstock. The Lacey Healing Share. Hey, Chris. Welcome.
There we go.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I guess we, I just wanted to show it. Okay. Showing up on my, it's not going to. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. So welcome, everyone who decided to take the plunge into understanding who we are as spiritual beings living out the mechanics of manifestation of Keylonta. Primary resource used was The Postures of Love and Step Towards Joy manual by Rose Tobin of the Kithara team by Azurite Press. This is an excellent summary of applying the freedom teachings in your daily life. I am in no way affiliated with Azurite Press or Raise Productions. The link to download the PDF itself is on the harmonizingjourney.com website on the HGR seminars page. And please put your questions and comments in the chat to share in the discussion. Also, please like, share, and subscribe if you have not. And yeah, if anybody's going to see what I do, it's very helpful to like, share, and subscribe. And if you when you subscribe, to hit the notification button, because I'm so weird on when I do stuff. And YouTube is just kind of how YouTube is. You may miss. So, and welcome to Lewis Oxley, fellow Grit Keeper and a wealth of chaos knowledge.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Yes. In one of these days, you're going to share a little bit more about what you're involved with, but yes. When you're ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we are working today looking at the paradox of free will, pages 10 through 12. The natural law of reciprocity, allowance, and balance are collectively known as laws of divine love. And those are very important in understanding about the paradox of free will. because there is a very tricky relationship between allowance, reciprocity, and balance in the eternal life flow of divine Amorian love, because that's what everything comes down to. And have, of course, our Cathar grid on the side there, especially for those that have been following the introductory material and understanding the importance of that area right about here in the physical body, your Azure, your seed atom of power, all the different Cathar grids, all interface of your energy lines and energy centers of the in and out breath of Source, Haya, God's the source, first eternal, that cosmic, Christic seed atom, perpetual renewal. Each level of creation, as it flashes into existence, right?
Yeah.
Emanates a certain amount of quantum, right? You don't get the whole wad, right? You just get whatever certain mathematically coded amount out. That's kind of the certain extent allowance part. If it's not regenerated through the natural perpetual renewal of life, or on the not so good side, the vampiring off another life system, the thought emanations Aya will eventually disperse back into the eternal spirit Aya. Aya will go back into Aya. Aya. I always have to say it in my head. I get the two mixed because that quantum goes up, but if you're not breathing, which we'll talk more of how the three of them work together, that you shot your wad, basically. And you've got to find some way of getting life force back into you to sustain. Okay, so free will. Okay, I'm sorry, Lewis, before we go on, did you want to add anything to that?
Oh, no. No. Keep going.
Sure? Okay.
I was going to make a point, but I think it's more linked or beneficial into the free will part.
Okay, we'll get a little bit more into that. And also, Lewis, you see the YouTube comments. If Chris or anybody has a comment, let me know, because I've got it where the screen. I just see the main screen. I can't see the comments right now, and I don't have it on my phone.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's right. Okay. So the ultimate expression of divine love. We're just defining the divine love aspects. And we know we are it, capital I, capital T. And as Aya, or Aya, there's a natural ability for choice. And in that choice, there's creation. And there's a love, a divine love, in breath, out breath of that creation. So as the all that is, God source first eternal, Aya, you, me, we, us, they, it, capital I, capital T, we naturally within the Chris code, right, have the thought intention to choose. In that conscious intention within, as we've talked about before, the Manu, that holds everything within it, the form constant, the polarity split, right, of the ere, which is of the sound or crystalla, emanates, so, and then the Manu out pictures or flashes out, but first calls light emanation of the Christ code. Okay.
Yep.
The Christ code holds the light body mechanics of the manifestation template of perpetual renewal. So again, that flashline sequences, the whole thing that we've done in the introductory material.
Yep.
So, yeah, just understanding every time we make a choice, this process that I just went over occurs at some level. You want to add anything to that, Lewis? You're talking about the free will part.
Yeah. So I really just wanted to emphasize that in every single free will moment, and she talks a lot about this in the Beyond the Veils workshop, where she talks about we have the higher and the lower spirals always continuously intermingling with itself. And she kind of used it in the Fall of Brennyway, for example, where we entered into the lower spiral, where the actual crystal, where the crystal temples ended up getting taken over, and the planet ended up going to the temples. But then, with the technique that we did in that workshop, and more recently with the Greek Keepers group, we're able to go back and actually start to correct and actually move on to the higher spiral. And hopefully, I guess, what's the word? What's the word? Keep us on the high spiral, onto the highest possible timeline, I suppose. But also something else you could talk about with the Chris code, because we talk about the Manu, the Ere, and the Manu. We could kind of talk about the Hoover bodies as well in terms of.
No, we're not going to do that.
We're not. Oh.
Not in this group. Lewis, introductory, we might. We could in the introductory.
Okay.
But now that you brought up that term, although I'm not sure we want to define it, I guess a Hoover body is almost like another way of saying we are an orb structure. Basically, everything in manifestation usually creates at some form in an orb.
Yep.
Or a radial body, a sphere. So we have the spheres within spheres within spheres. It's part of that mechanics that we're just talking about here. Okay. So the law of allowance. The act. So this is just looking at the Merriam-Webster online dictionary on allowance. Because what I find is there's kind of what they said when they were writing this book, and then kind of looking at what does the word actually mean. And to me, that gave me more meaning and understanding what the law of allowance is. So the act of allowing something permission. A sum granted as a reimbursement or bounty or for expenses, a salary that includes a cost of living allowance. Especially a sum regularly provided for personal or household expenses. Each child receives a weekly allowance. B, a fixed or available amount provide an allowance of time for recreation. B is probably a little bit more expressive of what we're using the term for, just taking the time for recreation, although it's kind of, you could maybe keep that in there too. Again, that flashing out, there's a certain allowance or a certain quantum of energy to work with. And once that's gone, unless, again, we do something to build it back up, which would be kind of running into reciprocity, which again I got from the Merriam-Webster online dictionary. So reciprocate, to give and take mutually. So in-breath into the eternal, out-breath into its outer expression. In-breath into the eternal, out-breath into the outer expression. The reciprocation back and forth, mutually, right? Because it's really all the same,
Yep.
but it's going back and forth. To return in kind or degree, reciprocating compliment gracefully. There's an art to this as well. So reciprocity, the quality of state of being reciprocal, mutual dependence, action or influence, and a mutual exchange of privileges. So again, this back and forth, and there's a respect, there's a dependence with each other, because our eternal being is very much relying on, when it expresses out into the manifest expression, that manifest expression at some point back to it, and then it receives the experiences of what went on in the outer realms back into its internal eternal core. It really relishes in those experiences, really takes them in deeply and on many levels, and from that experience it learns, it grows, it evolves, it expands. And in that expansion, it doubles out even the quantum it originally had taken in and brings that out to the outer expressions, which is to all our expressions out here, to then expand and experience more reciprocity back and forth. And again, it's an art. Do you want to add anything to that, Lewis?
These definitions just really show you how you can make a Christic society, or how the Christ code exists with all of society, if we are willing to use our own free will choice to actually make the choices.
Are we going to be working with being giving that back? Or are we going to try to hold on to it, right, in the outer realm? Yeah.
Everybody has a role. Everybody is
Exactly.
equally important. We give, but we also take, and it's a constant backflow return, I should call it.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm still trying to. Okay. All right. I just got it. Okay. Oh, yay. Okay. And then we come to the balance, which we really kind of almost already said. So, natural physics law translation of cause, effect, and consequence to action will restore balance to the manifest creation. So, in other words, source eternal of itself, expanding out to the external, waiting in its own quote unquote time, which we know there's no really time. If it doesn't receive back for whatever reason, it can't give anymore. There's a loss. And that's where the balance, part of the balance. If you're not doing reciprocal back again, boom, imbalanced, right? You're imbalanced now. So cosmic order was designed to express the original Christic divine intention of perpetual motion. Eternal life, there's eternal life in that, the love-based, and of course free will creation, because there's a creation in that back and forth reciprocity and balance, and a lot, how much is given to be given back of allowance. Now they were using it more in God source allows all expressions, is kind of where they originally Yeshua was going with it. But if you really look at what you go into the definition of allowance, that doesn't necessarily really make sense. It's more than just this consciousness allowing something. It's more this consciousness gives of or allowance of energy and then is waiting reciprocally for the return. And if there's a balance back and forth of that, and if that doesn't continue, then there's an imbalance and a loss. And by the way, this is an actual quote I took out of what I just read here, page 11. Did you want to add anything to this one, Lewis?
Really just talking about the threshold between balance itself. Because through this whole stellar activation drama, you could really say that the fallen angelics kept up, and even the guardians to an extent, they kept allowing that unbalance to actually occur until they got such a big, I guess, to such an extent of the imbalance that it was like, nope, we're not allowing this anymore. And the immune system of the Earth, or the immune system of the Epi, just went, right, fine, we're taking
it back. It had to. It had no choice. It was no longer receiving back, right?
No.
It had to stop. It had to cut it off, its losses. And there's mechanics on various ways on how that can occur. We're not going to talk about tonight, though. Right. And part of that mechanics is interfaced with the Azure, our seed atom of creation. the center point of eternal creation. How all our different bodies of our multidimensionality all interface at the same point, basically right here in the Azure, or in this physical, well, actually all the bodies interface at this point. And even our planet has an Azure, the universe galactic has an Azure, and all those Azures are how that we were just talking about, the mechanics in breath out breath, a perpetual renewal of energy lines and energy centers of that Katsara grid all interface at this point, feeding whatever the body system is. So if you shut yourself off, you're not no longer being fed from this, which our Azure was shut down for thousands of years because of our system, our body systems going, not running its natural perpetual renewal anymore. There's a lot of history on that too. Anyway, so finding the balance within the positive and negative polarities. Negative polarity holding, outward, positive polarity expressing out. That's all that is. Okay, when you really look at honestly positive and negative polarities. The internal eternal flows of creation of God's first eternal Aya, meaning as they it. The path of eternal life and continual at one-ness, the balance, with God's source, which is made possible through the internal Christos, or Christos, God spark seed atom, and Christ divine blueprint, because the divine blueprint is the cathartic structure of how everything receives life regeneration, is known as the path of replenishing return. Right? We were just talking about giving out, back in, experiences fully and completely, expands and grows from the experience, and then actually gives back double to triple or even more into the outer expressions to expand out. That's the path of replenishing return, which is a path of joy, right? That's very joyful, harmonizing, beautiful, right? That's the path of the Christos. Again, that's also on page 11. Anything you want to add to that, Lewis?
No, you said it perfectly.
And I guess we're still not getting anybody else added to the discussion. So again, this is a mathematical process, an alignment, basically, harmonizing. Harmonizing journey to realignment in many ways. So you're not going to have the blame shame going on. God's first eternal follows its own mathematical ratios of allowance, reciprocity, and balance. Free will choice is part of who we are, but it is, like I said, an art to master. In the mastery, there is an accountability to the I amness, which can come from a variety of different perspectives on the I amness. Your individuation, I, expanding out into the amness. You are a replication of divine, the Aya, right? Into your internal eternal pillar. All time is within your being. All your experiences all happening within your eternal core. And then expressing outward. That also happens on the biggest scale, right? But you have to learn how the I and the amness work together. And I like to say you're either, and of course free will choice plays a humongous part in that. Every thought, intention you have is either lining up within your eternal core of your vortex, right?
Yep.
And you are in breath out breath and creating in that perpetual renewal through every thought, intention, feeling, willing, or you're out in the weeds and you're no longer receiving any more life force current. Okay. And so it's very important to be mindful of your thoughts, feelings, and actions all the time. Oh, I'm sorry, Luz, did you want to?
Oh no, it's okay.
Okay. And then looking at the value of the or we have the fail-safe host for those, especially, which all of us have parts of ourselves. Let's just not front compromised. We've been here for thousands upon thousands, millions, billions of years in this time matrix that's not running as that perpetual renewal of design. So we've had many thoughts, feelings, actions that are not in the vortex and have been out in the weeds. So we all can do a dose of the fail-safe host. And okay, so in that, no matter how much we have others, probably to a certain extent, even including ourselves, we can't pull other people out. We can't and we can't even pull ourselves out of the parts of ourselves that chose the path of what they refer to here as chaos, or the anti-Christic imposed will objective. Because usually when you are out in the weeds, you're now no longer just naturally aligning with everything around you. You then turn around and push your will and control onto others because you've lost that knowledge of that, because you're no longer receiving that natural flow. It's the renewal, but there's a conscious awareness of knowing that goes with that renewal. And when you stop that connection, you no longer receive that knowing that goes with it. So then you start being manipulative and pushy. And that becomes a path of destiny, the path of sorrow, or the destiny of sorrow. I add, which she didn't add, but I'm going to add it anyway. I think it also leads people, when they're going down that path, becoming atheists, godless people that just go into harmonic science and abstract thinking and just very disconnected from who they are. And that then goes towards becoming more transhumanist, which is in the kind of artificial intelligence. Because at that point, when you're no longer doing perpetual renewal, you're dying. And you're multidimensional, so you have different levels of yourself that start dying off. We experience it kind of the most here, but your soul level starts dying eventually. Your oversoul connection starts dying off on up. So the transhumanist is, through their intellect and sciences, try to think, okay, mechanically, how can we, through technology, not bit by bit die off? How can we keep that bit of ourselves alive? That's really transhumanism. I just don't know what else to tell people. That's artificial intelligence as part of that. And many souls or entities, bit by bit, find themselves in what we call the eighth sphere from old esoteric or Christianity, or what we call in Keylonta science, the phantom earth or phantom matrix. Is basically full of those souls like that. And they're getting to the point where they're realizing, oh shit, we can't keep playing our game. We are having trouble vampiring off of other life forms, because if you can't do the natural perpetual renewal, you have to feed somehow off of some other life force. That's why we eat animals and vegetable, plants, because we lost we shut ourselves down, which we'll get more into the introductory version of that. But because we are still who we are, which are eternal beings, we are the Aya, there's still that choice. As long as you can still think enough to choose, as long as you still have something within you that when you think and process and feel into it, you still feel that connection, you can choose to make the connection back again and start the regenerating, being able to regenerate again, which is really all of us are going through that now. And thankfully, there's something called the fail-safe that came in 2011, 2012, that was saying, okay, because if it didn't come in, there's a natural, like I say, when source is not receiving back again, it stops giving. And it just sort of allows things to shut down. And then there's a natural process of that energy quantum coming back into itself, which is not alive, but particles of source coming back into itself. But now, with that, the fail-safe, it's important when we're making that choice and making that connection, because there's beings called the Alhambra guardian, or the Alhambra guardian administrators of the Christ mechanics. You want to connect with them. And again, they're working with the mechanics that we were talking about earlier. They're not going to blame or shame or any of that psychological mumbo jumbo that we get into here, but they are going to work with you to help you get realigned back into the mechanics. And you, again, we're multidimensional. We have a part of ourselves that line up into the Alhambra at all levels. So she's lining up with that part of the self back again. But again, it's free will choice. So while free will choice can be the greatest thing ever, this is, of course, the paradox. It can be the greatest thing we've ever had, because we create worlds. We've created universes through free will choice. But it also can be our undoing as well. So, yeah. All right. Just wanted to remind everybody about our Harmonizing Journey to Realignment private sessions. We utilize Oh, I'm sorry, Louis, hold on. Did you want to add something before we go on to that about this?
I was just going to kind of ask the question. So if I'm down here on the incarnate level, and say if my other soul level doesn't want to take the host or play ball with the whole bioregenesis, how does that work? Will I still fall because my other soul level wants to fall, or how will that kind of work?
Hold on a second, Louis. I just wanted to put that comment up. Thank you, Alania Freedom Share, Christopher Comstock. So you're asking if there's a part of yourself that's a big part of yourself that doesn't want to get back into the swing of things.
There's a big part of myself, so say if you come out of, I don't know, a fallen Anu Elohim matrix, for example, and that part of yourself, I guess you'd probably call it the Dark Avatar self, decided, right, I don't want to play a ball, I want to go into the Phantom Matrix or the Sphere, and I want to live out my days there. But then, say, if you go down a little bit lower to, say, I don't know, the incarnate level, and the incarnate level is like, no, I don't want to play ball with this. I want to bioregenerate. I want I want that Chris contracts. I don't want to be a part of this.
I think we're there now, because back in, 2005, May of 2005, she was talking about in that workshop that I think it was Gaia.
It was
Gaia or Terra was falling, right?
It was the Butara. They invaded into Terra
Okay,
first. They went into
For some
Gaia.
reason I was thinking of Gaia. Anyway, either Gaia or Terra, I thought it was Gaia, got compromised. And she was like wondering how in the world that was going to come into our reality. And I remember for a few years it was intense because I felt that part, you know. Um, and that is, I think, why we have the failsafe. I think that's why in the failsafe we had the KDDL material given and the Hostmaster uh, workshop that we're doing in basically recreating the whole system, our whole light body structure. So those parts that have made that choice will go that way. It's kind of the people talking about the two worlds split. It's kind of the same thing. Everybody talking about the two worlds split. You'll have the lower uh, compromised earth and then the one that's going to rise. There's mechanics involved with that split. And that's what we've been involved with very carefully, very gently. The Guardians have really been working with us to make that split as even as stressful as it's been, as less stressful as possible. Because to keep our mind, our identity intact, it's been a very slow process. So we will have parts that are just going to go, but we're going to align with new parts because remember, we IA, our internal eternal pillar spirit, is created harmonic universe 1, harmonic universe 2, harmonic universe 3, our avatar level, the rishi, the whole light body system in its mind, through its thought intention, created the whole system. It's a creation then, right? So even parts that may get compromised, it's just how then can the mind of the all that is recreate itself, its creation. So that's kind of another way of looking at it as well. So that's a lot of what we've got going on right now too, is it's really in the process of recreating. And this identity is figuring out all of my eyes, right? All my different eyes of our the big amness can keep itself intact because we know that we've worked really hard to create our individual identities, even though there are people out there that said, oh, ultimately we're going to lose our eye and just go back into the... No. Source is not what it once was. Source has learned and grown and evolved and expanded out to something more than it was before. So we're going to keep those eyes because Source has its own eye and it wanted to experience being multiple different eyes, going all their own individuated ways. And that can mean, and I don't think there's an allowance there. I think Source at times, because we are Source, likes to be down and dirty sometimes. It likes to be bad, just to be bad. Now, does it want to stay that way? Probably not. But it knows there's going to be parts of itself that are just of that experience of creating itself to be bad, right? Because it's still all light body creations. I want to experience being bad. I want to be as downright as bad as possible and take back all that knowledge of what that it means to be really bad or quote unquote bad, right? That's what I kind of feel. But again, you could say there's an allowance to that. Source knows when it's bad, it's probably not going to receive back again. So it's only going to give a certain allowance of energy into that bad. And so that bad just kind of fizzles itself out and then returns back the particles of that experience back into itself. This particular cycle, it wants to do more than that. It wants to not lose any of those bads, right? That would have normally gone into space dust return, it wants to keep as conscious as possible all those memories, all those experiences. And that's part of what the failsafe also is about, is bringing back all of what it can intact. Okay, anything else, Lewis?
That's it, thank you.
So, again, Harmonizing Journey to Realignment Private Sessions, HDR. We utilize Keylonta for the Freedom Teaching mechanics and the Tantriya Hura mechanics, which is more the spirit body, which is going, we've been talking about the light body structure, and we've kind of been referencing the eternal internal core of our being. That's going into the spirit body mechanics of the Tantriya Hura. And that's something that normally where we're at in evolution, we normally would not have. But because of certain things occurring, along with the failsafe and some other things, we needed to bring in that knowledge because if we're going to get the information that we need to make new choices to align back up again, so we get the balance back, the reciprocity, the renewal balance of the path of joy back, we need to know all of it. We need to know as much as possible of how things work. And so we had to learn that mechanics to be able to line back in. So again, the mechanics works with the organic light body and plasma spirit body, structure to bring you back to your organic first creation mechanics of the eternal domain of the all that is. This technology realigns the artificial finite second creation Fibonacci tube torus net earth programs with its natural perpetually renewing organic ascension new earth. When I was referencing about the phantom matrix, the eighth sphere, my way I like to say it is second creation finite mechanics. Everything has mechanics to it. You have the organic, original mechanics, and you have what we've built up in this time matrix. Particularly, well, actually, I think it's kind of probably the whole matrix is involved with this at this point. But originally, it's predominantly density, our harmonic universe one that we live here, and I think some of harmonic universe two. But we definitely have in harmonic universe one the Fibonacci spiral, the tube torus, also known as the date apple of death. How that structure is, that's a structure built when you've stopped natural perpetual renewal and you're now having to vampire. So people that think that the tube torus is the coolest thing since sliced bread and the Fibonacci spiral technology that goes with it, yeah, it is what we're running right now. Yes, we do. Our bodies are running on that. Doesn't make it organic. It doesn't make it good. So it is good to learn what is so that we can line back up with it and how to work with it. And the my little image there of Podspace, it is my funky image of it, but that has to do with our Mashayahana Persalon, or our plasma body mechanics of our spirit body. We're really lining up back with that energy. And in the center, you have what looks like a pillar. That's what we call the pillar of peace. That's when you're connecting into, when I talk about the eternal internal core of your being. There's a pillar of energy and alignment. Your central body current is part of that. Your chakra system's part of that. And many other levels of your being is part of that pillar of consciousness. Of that making free will choices of choice is working within that, how we work or don't work within that pillar. We have been through the KDDL material is brought through working with what we call the Ureta zone or field or consciousness. And in that has eventually evolved something called the crystal caverns. And in that space, we can clear programs that are keeping you stuck, not that keep you from making that alignment with your eternal pillar. Then there's something called the Rainbow Pillar Bridge, or she calls it the Integral Bridge, Seven Bridges Flows, which I also call, and I'm trying to think, I think she did say it one time or two, the bypass system, because this is what Lewis was just saying a few moments ago about parts of yourself. What if a big part of yourself says they like being in the 8th sphere? They like the Phantom Matrix. They want to continue staying there. What do? You can't no longer line up in the what's called a stellar, STELLAR, spiral any longer. This whole system, matrix here, is shut down and is actually running on the 2 Taurus Fibonacci spiral, the Phantom Matrix. We have a bypass system that aligns with what we call the crystal spiral, which has the mechanics we're talking about in the beginning of perpetual renewal of how to align up with who you are as an organic, eternal, perpetually renewing, regenerating being. So we work with that energy, and there's certain levels, and we could do that with that, and eventually connecting into something that we call Urea Earth, and that's something that connects also with Eartha, and just more back into where our time matrix originated from to begin with, is making that alignment back with that, because we did fall out of that because there was enough of us that made the choice to not reciprocate back, and so the matrix fell, and we're now working through free will choice and learning new ways to realign back up again, and there's a mechanics that goes with that. And just stop me if there's anything you want to add with any of this, Lewis.
Oh, so good.
And we have the HDR Gatekeepers Community Membership Program for those who are either new to HDR or advanced HDR clients. This community offers a small, private, safe, and supportive environment where you can study and apply the Keylonta and Tandria Brew mechanics of manifestation to create your own personal planetary morphogenic field template. It's almost another way of saying I am. It's almost another way of saying IA. We have the I, personal and planetary amness, something called the biofeed interface system, which again is a Keylonta term. And this creates a morphogenic field template, which is part of the cathartic structure. And again, through our thoughts, we create this. Through our free will, we either are in alignment or out of alignment. Okay. We meet twice a month for group journeys and once a month for group discussion. This is basically a $250 value, but it's only for $10 a month or $112 for a year. Also includes a 30% discount on a 2-hour private HDR session. Did you want to add anything to this, please?
I was just going to say the Grid Keepers membership is just for anyone that is already doing Keylontic Science, or maybe you're not doing Keylontic Science and it's the next level up. Even before the HCR membership, me and Katie and a couple of others, we were working with already generating the light body structure. Now, originally, Aisha, over the last couple of weeks ago, pretty much talked about the new activations coming in, saying that we're going to start building a light body structure. So it really is the next level up for anyone that really wants to take their own destiny into their own hands and really start to work hands-on with generating their own light body structure and hopefully ascending out for a gate or whatever else in this life.
Yeah. Again, you don't have to have any background whatsoever in Keylonic science or Tanjira Hura to join, but you will eventually, through this class and the introductory class, as well as what we do in our group, you will eventually get the mechanics. As well as Lewis, you want to say what your Telegram group, and again, I will, if I haven't yet, I will put a link that people can join that.
So I have a Telegram group called the Workshop Ball. It has all the freedom teachings available. My intention with it was really just to allow people to go at their own pace, go at their own discernment, and really just start going through the teachings and going through the bioregenesis technologies. I've also recently added the Azurite Press, which is an old website for the freedom teachings. It includes all the old techniques. It includes all of the... It also includes a structure. So if you're really not sure what to do in the freedom teachings, you can just go onto the Azurite Press part of it, go onto the techniques and just work your way through them. And then eventually onto the Crystal River and hopefully onto Riisha's new stuff with the Tenchi Horror and the KDDLs and Postmasters. So.
Yeah, we do suggest, I still think it's important, you might have just said my space. Yeah. Because what I was saying earlier, there's just stuff going on with the grids that there's a period or even more things that occurred that compromised the grids that even made it to where the freedom teachings weren't safe to do. We had to really, and that's part of why we received the Tanjira Hura teachings, was a way to and I was talking about the bypass system, kind of bypass the freedom teachings to a certain extent, or the traditional freedom teachings that we received, to connect more directly with our spirit body mechanics. And then through our spirit body mechanics, kind of coming back through and getting the freedom teachings or Keylonta mechanics. So yeah. So again, I feel when you connect into your pod space, you're connecting into your spirit body, Tanjira Hura mechanics, all that. You can then work on the freedom teachings from working with your pod space mechanics, or going to Arias.com and going through their free material to make that connection. But yeah, I personally feel that you get a lot working with this mechanics with the HDR.
We do.
Really kind of bumps you up a few notches, in my opinion.
There's nothing like it. Nobody else is doing anything like it for the price as well.
Yeah. Yeah. For the equivalent, for an hour of people that I kind of see sort of did kind of interesting, similar type, very self-helpy type stuff, $200, $250 an hour, basically. And I'm $50 an hour. So yeah, I'm not looking to gouge anybody, but I do like to eat and have a roof over my head. So, reciprocal, reciprocity. If I'm giving and nobody's giving back, at some point I have to cut off, right? Right, okay. But when somebody reciprocates, I can expand and evolve.
Maybe mention because on your HDR, on the Harmonizing Journey YouTube channel, you have a lot of free journeys.
Oh yes, I do always forget that. Yeah, on the site that you're on right now, if you're watching this, I have a playlist for Harmonizing Journey with Katie Oshilani tip playlist, and those are group introductory sessions, Harmonizing Journey sessions, to realignment sessions. So anybody that's like, well, this kind of sounds interesting, but I don't know about this pod space stuff. It sounds kind of weird to me. I've got a variety of different journeys that you can take in the introductory process to feel the energy out for yourself. Also, I have my HDR Insights blog posts that I have on my website, as well as I do an audio or video version as well with that of those posts over a wide range of different topics. And I even have an Evolution of the Soul playlist. Um, so yeah, there's quite a bit on that website, on the YouTube channel. Yes. And I also, just while I was thinking about it, because I did it the last time, a few times, on Arrayus.com, they do have available Angelic Realities, the Survival Handbook. I would suggest, if you're wanting to go a little bit more in depth into the mechanics or the science, or kind of not the technicals, but just sort of the broad summary of kind of how you want to handle dealing with when you feel like an entity is connecting with you, what you want to go through to find out, is this a guardian? Is it part of my clan family, or is it something else? This is actually a good book. And, we might eventually go through this one too. So, how are we doing timing-wise in this?
We've got 4 minutes until the hour.
Okay. Oh, hello, dear. Louis, do you have the capability of putting comments? Can you put your cursor on the comments and get them to show? Do you have that capability?
I can't, unfortunately. That's something you'd have to.
All right.
Oh, hello, Mildred.
Yes, our beautiful Mildred is with us. Okay. All right. Waking in Alania. So, Waking in Alania book series. So this is basically, and this was the first one, and this, when I was talking, we were talking about Terra. This, our Harmonic Universe 2. This book takes place right before the cataclysm that ended up where big part of Terra broke off, went through our sun and into this, back in time into this solar system, and basically created what we know of as the solar system. Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn are all pieces of Terra that broke off in Earth. Okay. So this is very much into kind of understanding some of what went on with that, and the essence of the law of one, and that kind of into the heart and soul of the mechanics. This is a really fun sort of sci-fi, romance, adventure book. And then the second one, Waking in Alania Book 2, The Crystal Halls of Mente, is more modern day, around 2011, 2012 time period, of what was going on with that, and it actually kind of talks a little bit of what we call the Fatal League, we call the Dark Lords, Time Lords. But anyway, a lot of fun stuff, adventure, little sci-fi, romance, adventure, as well with this book, and many different little pieces to it. Did you want to add anything to that, Louis?
For anyone that has read Voyages 2, Secrets of Amente, the Walking in Alania books are a really good way to really, to really get into the mechanics of and the ideas of our own history. So once you go through the Walking in Alania books, go through them, and then you read Voyages again, you'll start to understand it a lot better, because she really does describe the whole different concepts of Voyages in such a wonderful, simple manner. So I would definitely recommend it.
Thank you. And the link for these books are in the description. Oh, which reminds me too, I should have said it earlier when I was talking about HDR Grid Keepers community. You can also purchase this from the website from Lulu. Actually, all the books are on Lulu. If you're domestic for the Waking in Alania books, you can get them on Amazon on Kindle, or KDP. But I can't do international; it doesn't work with Amazon. But you can get Lulu, which actually is really better. I don't really like supporting Amazon, to tell the truth be told. But anyway, but yeah, this is a foundation piece. This is actually 3 different books that I created over a period of time. I put them together, and it goes from we're talking about the free will choice. This is very much getting into what have you been creating? What's the thoughts you've been thinking, the feelings you've been feeling? What does that create in your life? What has that been causing to have going on? And just over a variety of different things with that. And so has in there SEPA, self-empowerment principles of awareness. Yes. So just a lot of good stuff in here. And okay. The schedule. So, which is really important for me to say this because I am a little crazy. You can say every Tuesday, which I think I'm getting to the point. I'm thinking, what do you think, Lewis, about Monday evenings?
Yeah, I mean, that should be okay.
I'm kind of thinking I might need to decide on a day and just go run with it. But anyway, Introduction to Keylonta episode 4 will be on Thursday, January 22nd at 8 p.m. EST. We will discuss the cosmic clock and the Stairway to Heaven God World Stargate Network. And again, that was out of the Elements of Discovery book, PDF. And to purchase, or not purchase, it's free. To get a copy, a PDF copy, that is also on harmonizingjourney.com and the HDR Seminar Series page. And that page holds a lot of different things in there. And it has these classes. If you want to check anytime, kind of dates and times and everything where we're at, that harmonizingjourney.com, HDR Seminar Series page will tell you everything you need to know. And then HDR Insights Tarot Show will be the new one. And by the way, on that, I'm pretty open to questions that anybody would like to get answered. You don't want to get personal because we're public here, but questions just about, you think that general questions of what's going on on big different topics and stuff. I'm looking for an idea or ideas, and kind of how I may set up the cards to answer those questions and just sort of see how it goes. But this is sort of more of the HDR insight aspect of my personality. And will be the 26th, Monday the 26th at 8 p.m. EST. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Especially the people that showed up tonight. And thank you for the people watching in the future. And please like this video. So important. Sharing this to anybody you think might be interested is hugely important. Because the more it gets out there, the more people know and can share into it and participate. Subscribe, and again, hit the notification button. Also, I'm not monetized by YouTube, so donations are greatly appreciated. The donation link will be in the description box. Oh, okay. I see. Hold on. Okay.
Perfect.
So with that, thank you. Um, look forward to whoever can connect with us on the Thursday the 22nd at 8 p.m. for our introduction to Keylonta YouTube Live show. And
Brings it
oh,
to life.
thank
Was Christopher replying to Mildred? I don't know.
oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, thank you, thank you, Christopher.
Okay.
And I guess that's it. Oh, by the way, Christopher, um, it's been on my mind. I keep forgetting, but since you're here, I can ask it. Would you like to participate in one of these shows and and help out, and maybe even talk about what you're doing now? Would be really awesome if you want to do that. So anyway, think about it, and of course, PM me. And alrighty, thank you.
Guys.
Bye.